Alright guys, today I want to show you guys how I pre-fish a tournament. And pre-fishing a tournament, it doesn't mean that you have to spend the first 3 days down there before you even know anything about the lake. What I do is I mainly just use my computer. What you're seeing right here, this is Google Maps. Everybody has it. It's on everybody's iPhones. Already comes on there. And first thing I like to do is I like to find where I'm launching from. Where's the tournament start? Where am I launching from? And this is the first tournament of the year. I've never fished Patoka Lake, southern Indiana, and we're launching from Painter Creek. So this is where we're launching right here, and it's kind of back up in a cove. Looks like it does turn into a creek, and so I know that's where I'm starting from right here. So the first thing, I just keep it simple. What's bass looking for, especially early spring? We're talking about pre-spawn. They're looking for places. The males are going to be starting to get up on the beds. Females are going to be in a little bit of deeper water. And so mainly right now I'm going to look for places that look like they might have beds on them. You know, the males, where the males will be sitting on the beds. So I just like to take a look around, see what all there is, go across the whole lake right here. And I like to focus, up in the shallower water seems to be where the bass like to spawn at. And I mean, I usually like to look up here in the very ends of these coves. It's shallow. A lot of them turn into creeks, a little bit of flowing water. And also these little coves too, out on the points, you can tell a lot of lakes, whenever you're on Google Maps, the images are so good that you can really zoom in. And like right here, you see this light spot. I know it's hard for you guys to see this. It's a little blurry for you guys, but right here there's a light spot, and you can see as the image comes out. Now, it's not always true what this map shows, but right here you can see how it almost shows a point that's coming out. I think that this lake was muddy whenever they took these images, but you can see where this point comes out, and it'll give you an idea kind of how shallow it is. Like around here goes all the way up along the bank, and you can tell shallow areas from the more deeper areas. Once you get back up into here, it's real light. You can almost tell, it's going to be shallower up there. So, like underneath of this bridge up in here, it all looks real shallow. So, those are just, some places that the bass would like to spawn. And those are some places I'd be looking at going to on, first or second day of my pre-fishing, whenever I actually get to go out on the lake. And the good thing about this is this lake, it's 2.5 hours from me, so it's not like I can drive down there and I got all the time in the world to fish it. So it's really beneficial to get on here and learn as much as you can about the lake, and it'll give you an idea of where to go whenever you're going to pre-fish. So some of these deep points, they look good. Like right along here, there's some small points, little cut ins and stuff. And I mean, you can just tell, like right here on this point, I mean, there's looks like there's some wood, maybe some trees that's sticking up out of the water all around here. That looks great. This right here, this point comes way out. That's definitely a place that I'm going to go whenever it's time to go and pre-fish. And I'll just, I'll keep looking. Obviously, the more spots you can find that look good, the better off you are. So, that's just a little spot there on the lake, and I know, there's some brush there. Fish they're looking for food, they're looking for cover, and they're looking for a place to spawn in the early season. So that's just that half of the lake, and I hardly covered any of it. And I'm just trying to give you guys an idea. Here, there's a little cut in. I love the banks that have a lot of have a lot of points on them and cuts in them. But the one thing I do try to stay away from is out on the main lake. I'll find a couple spots out on the main part of the lake, but after 9, 10 o'clock, people start coming out in the speedboats and stuff, and it makes it tough to fish sometimes whenever there's a lot of boat traffic. But you can get up in these cuts and you can really find all the different places that you can fish. So you're not going out there launching your boat and you have nowhere to go. You have no idea what's out there. So another thing I'll do is I use Fishity, and this right here's the lake. It shows me the topo map of the lake, and it highlights spots that people have put on here where they've gotten good fish. The early spring, I'm also looking for that deep grass. Maybe cast along the edges of that grass with some deep diving crankbaits. About 10 to 12 feet of water. Get that winter grass that didn't die. But I mean, we can see the contour of the lake right here. This whole bank that goes right around here across from the causeway. I mean, that looks like that's a real shallow lake. The fish are going to be bedding all up in here on this bank in that 10 to 15 feet of water. Also up here, another good thing is to find offshore humps and structure. I mean, those will hold fish too. Like right up in here, looks like there's a hump right here. Yeah, that's a deep hump though. Looks like it goes from about 30 feet up to about 20 feet. That's only about a 10-foot hump. And around here, there's quite a few areas on this lake, and that's the thing about fishing a big lake is, I mean, you've got so many options of places to go. But I do like to find those big banks that are not, straight drop-offs, that they gradually come out. And the ones that are decently shallow too, because I know that the fish are going to be wanting to get up on the beds. The females, they'll be off the banks out into the little bit of deeper water, so you can go out there and start casting deep diving crankbaits, maybe down to 15 feet, maybe a little less, around 10. But that's my plan for the early season out here on this lake, this tournament, the first tournament of the year. And if that doesn't work out, I might try to find some boat docks or some brush that around the banks, and throw some jigs, drag some jigs across the bottom and see what that does. But that's another thing you can find. Good thing about this is you can see the contour of the bank. So I mean, obviously if you're on a bank and it goes straight down to 20 feet directly off the bank, I mean, that's not a good place for throwing a jig. So the best thing to do is you get on here, you see the contour of the lake. This is free, by the way. Fishity's free. I don't have any contacts with them. It's just a website that I've used a lot. But this is the first time I've looked at this lake. I've been there once, but wasn't fishing. So here's a good hump. It goes from 25 feet, comes up to 15 feet. That might be throwing some 8XDs or whatever. some Strike Kings out there, some deep diving Strike Kings. But that's about it. I just like to keep it simple. I mean, I go back to the basics of what fish need, and I'll cover a little more of that, but in a later video. So anyways, if you guys like this, make sure to let me know down in the comments. This is my first video, so there's a lot more to come. I have a lot more ideas. And if you guys liked it, let me know. Let me know what you guys thought about it. If you didn't like it, let me know. Let me know the things that I can improve on. And also click the like button if you liked it, and click the dislike button if you didn't. Alright, thank you guys.